Yeah, Activision. Got it. So this Activision, this video is titled "Activision is a Cancer." Okay, it's from Legendary Drops, so he's pretty well-known persona, and he usually have these sort of like angry, rambling kind of videos, like completely dunking on various like AAA companies and corporations, etc. Because frankly, who wouldn't? Like they are doing pretty good job of dunking every gaming franchise we love to the very bottom of the barrel, so they probably deserve it. And he's always so happy when like game like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 or Clair Obscure Expedition 33 just come out and are absolute gems, and all of those companies and their like suits are losing their heads over it, and then it gets translated to like the corrupted journals who are like making 1,000 excuses why the AAA game can't be that as good as the indie game, and that sort of stuff. It's kind of hilarious what is going on. And it's good that we have people like him who are covering it without any like filter and without any like politics mingling into it. It's just saying things as they are. So while his opinions are highly aggressive, they are not toxic in any means. So that's at least my understanding of his content. So let's hear why Activision is a cancer.
Activision is the ultimate betrayer. They are the avatar of greed. They are a cancer in the gaming industry. I don't think that there is a single publisher outside of EA that's more hated than Activision is. That's for a good reason, because these guys used to be the most celebrated publisher.
Okay, hold on. Is there any, apart from EA, any publisher that is more hated? Okay, Loki. I think Nintendo is getting up there with their shenanigans against like Palworld and with their like pricing, pricing of the new Nintendo, and basically telling people like, if you're poor, just play old games and this sort of stuff. So like Nintendo is trying hard to be up on that list as well. Then we have Ubisoft with their genius like takes that were pretty hilarious lately. I don't think we have like the most hated. I think like they all, like the EA is if EA is a king, then all of other companies, they're like actively fighting to be crowned the king of the assholes themselves. It's not like the Activision is the second most hated. Also, unpopular opinion, I think Activision is doing great job regarding to World of Warcraft, at least, because World of Warcraft is, well, everything else from Activision might be dog shit. The World of Warcraft is actually good right now. Like playing War Within, it has its stale like moments, but overall I think it's a very good expansion, and Dragonflight was great as well. So, but you can play the old games. They are slowly taking them down. That's kind of true, right? They completely shut off Warcraft, the series, like 1, 2, 3, and you can only play remakes now. And even GOG, the Galaxy of Games, yeah, GOG, good old games, they were dunking on them hard when they announced that they will be no longer selling and supporting the old Warcraft games. And they also like put Warcraft 1 and 2 up to the last day when their contract ended. They had it on sale and like DRM free, and you can play it forever. They even said that their own developers will manage patches from now on and that sort of thing, which they can do. It was funny as hell. I didn't grab copies for myself, sadly, but it was funny regardless. Anyway, let's continue.
Publisher in the industry. They came out with some of the most beloved games in the history of the hobby, but now they're one of the ones that's the most...
That's true. Like Diablo, StarCraft, World of Warcraft, Warcraft series, all of those, we loved them. And it was 20 years ago.
Responsible for the state that it's in today.
Well, that's not true. Everything I named was Blizzard, and Blizzard is part of Activision now. Activision before, like the first Call of Duty games, they were actually good. I remember I played like the demo. Why, that was Medal of Honor. Never mind. But Call of Duty, I played some Call of Duty as well. As a teenager, it was almost 20 years ago as well. I think it was like the second one, and yeah, these were like good. We loved them. Even though I stopped having interest in most Call of Duty and Medal of Honor again, these Series 70 games, I was like, there's like only that much of shooting Nazis that I can like take. It's I have nothing against shooting Nazis. On the one hand, on the other hand, is like they looked all the same. Like the one looked exactly like the other. So in the end, it was like, maybe just tone down on these. And then I didn't even know that like Call of Duty has like Modern Warfare and all of these new spins off. Some of them were like the modern world, some of them were even science fiction world. I didn't really care because I lost interest in Call of Duty. And if people enjoy Call of Duty, great. But I know that the first ones, they were really, really good. Honestly, I don't even know what is in the Activision portfolio in the past. But I'm pretty sure I played a lot of their games, because I played a lot of games back in the day. Not to say that I'm not playing a lot of games nowadays, but like I do have a memory. I have a lot of finished games throughout the course of my life. Yeah. As a millennial, you tend to do like that. I started gaming very early in like the early 90s, so I remember like the gems like Eye of Beholder 1 and 2, original Prince of Persia, and I don't mean like the original Sense of Time, I mean literally original 2D Prince of Persia, which was like the pivot in like motion capture, and beach volleyball, those old racing games, like you have the Formulas 1, racing cars, you had motorcycles, this sort of stuff. Tom and Jerry, all of these were like best. And maybe one of those were from Activision, I don't even know. I think those sports games might have been. But I'm not sure. Take me with a grain of salt, okay?
They are arguably the best example of a company and a selection of studios that continues to release games at a lower and lower quality, ignoring their audiences at every single turn and paywalling every aspect of their games. Instead of trying to provide quality or value, no. They would much rather invest their time.
Okay, I'm sorry, Legendary Drops. I need to pause you there. I just want to say, I just saw your cat prowling through that corridor. I think he or she are absolutely adorable. I have 3 cats of my own, so I can always appreciate good, like, cat in the frame.
And their resources into finding more ways to manipulate their players, to put them at a disadvantage in hopes that they spend more money. That is the only thing that they care about.
Was it like the Ricotello? Wasn't he like a member of the Activision board when he wanted to charge people for new magazines or new lives whenever they get shot? I think it was like ammunition. Out of ammunition, give us $2 and you can reload for free during the match, even if you have nothing. It was so ridiculous. But that fucking moron really wanted to push that in. He didn't even understand what kind of PR shit show he would cause if he would force developers to implement this. And he is probably angry to this day that this didn't work out for him. Like that, seriously, that guy is a piece of shit, straight up. How is he even still have a job as like a CEO of one of the company? Like I hope he just fucked off from the gaming industry and will never come back, because he's like, yeah, but it's fitting if he was working for Activision back then.
Recently, they just got caught red-handed putting ads into Black Ops 6. And by the way, this isn't the first time that we've seen something like this, nor is it going to be the last time that we're going to be seeing it, because we live in a world where they need to chase never-ending increasing profits. And I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see some major shifts in how these games are monetized.
Yeah, I think that is true. But ever-increasing profit, like manageable ever-increasing profit, it's a myth. You cannot sustain this. Even if it is like dream of the capitalism, you cannot sustain this. You cannot grow forever. Because your player base, and this extends not just the gaming industry, right? This extends everything in every industry. You cannot grow forever. It is unsustainable. Your customers will never have enough resources, and even if they have, they will never be willing to put all their money into your stupid products. They want your products because they want some value from those products. They want either like to be entertained if it's gaming, you know, they want their business to be better if you are selling some sort of, I don't know, project management tool or a service desk tool or whatever. They do not want to exist just as a milking cow to give money to your company. Despite this being known throughout the history, well, every time when like any country would just try to grow and grow more, it would always end up in a war, and I'm not even kidding. Like the whole World War II was the result of the growth of Germany being unmanageable. Now I'm oversimplifying things, right? But economics will go to hell due to inflation because you are trying to grow and grow and grow in multiple aspects of the society. And once this ever-hungering Ouroboros, or whatever you would call it, cannot feed itself anymore, it results in war. It has been always like this throughout the course of the whole history of mankind. Yet still, capitalism somehow thinks that they can grow infinitely. You can grow infinitely. You cannot just pumping out more and more products en masse and hope that your customers will somehow sustain you. This is not how it works. This is not how it ever worked. Every successful company, and these huge gaming companies, you cannot consider them successful because in the last decade, all of them are declining slowly. Every successful company, every successful business that has been a huge player for decades is a company that stopped growing and is fine with just doing the same, you know, having the same profit. Maybe increasing a little bit due to inflation, but not really in a scale, we are going to grow our company, we are going to grow our teams, we are going to grow our offices, we are going to grow our global reach. No, you cannot do this forever. Let's go back to the video.
You guys think things are bad right now? You haven't seen anything yet. So today what I want to do is I want to talk about the history of Activision.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. One more thing that I would like to add to this. It is possible that we haven't seen the worst, but honestly, what these companies are doing right now is they are just testing patience of the players. And whenever the hit game like Clair Obscur comes out, it is actually a reality check for a lot of gamers who slowly realize that why should they pay overpriced prices for a slop that costs like $70 to $80 only to be riddled with microtransactions, only to be riddled with ads, you know, and they will demand your time, they will demand your money, they will demand like microtransactions, online services, your subscriptions, all of these things. And then you have like $60, $50 games that are delivered as a whole package, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 or Clair Obscur Expedition 33. You buy this once, you have that shit completed on day one, and you realize you have so much fun playing that. It's ridiculous, honestly. So back to my original point, they are testing patience of the players in a matter of one time they will cross that line, and they are actually crossing that line every day, but it is not being seen on the large scale because this goes for each and individual player. When the player goes like, well, you know what, I don't think this is worth it, I don't think I'm going to be buying those games anymore, I think I will just buy more games like Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I will be more wary about what I'm buying and what I'm putting my money in, because frankly, these new games from Activision, this new Call of Duty Black Ops riddled with ads is not fun anymore for me. I'm going to play something that is fun, and they realize they don't need Activision anymore. Every day, more and more people are realizing this. And a lot of these lost customers, the number of these customers that are lost will increase a lot throughout the years. And the worse these predatory businesses and predatory practices will grow in these games, the more people you will lose. And eventually, those studios will go broke. You know, the new Call of Duty will just be total tank instead of sales success. And then the suits will come, fire all the developers, but then they realize that they have no developers left to create any meaningful games. And eventually, the company will get shut down. Unless they change. So, it's going to be very interesting to watch the approach of these different companies, because we have like Ubisoft, Activision, EA, what else is there? Nintendo, Square Enix, all of those who took gaming, who took like passion out of gaming and made it just the corporate business bullshit, how they are going to react and adapt on anomalies like Expedition 33, because there will be more of those games. Like the number of indie games that have skyrocketed recently is ridiculous. Like you have, what is it? Expedition, like Kingdom Come Deliverance is basically indie game. That drug selling game, what's it called? You know, that ridiculously looking, not GTA Simulator, but you are like riding on the skateboard, you know, selling marijuana to everybody, you know, through the streets, all of those things. Schedule 1 or Schedule 2, something like that, Schedule, basically. Then you have Repo, you have Lethal Company. It's absurd. You know, that Shotgun Roulette, that weird card game, Voltaro, something like that. All of those games. They are just skyrocketing prices. Baldur's Gate, it's ridiculous. I don't blame, like, or not blame, but I'm not surprised people like these games, because 20 years ago, most of the games were like this. They might have been sometimes like bugged, sometimes they were like quirky or awkward, but you could feel the passion in those games, and we were tolerating that, even despite often like features were not working or graphics wasn't top notch, because you could feel the passion, you could feel the gameplay loop that had meaning, you could feel the fun, and developers were just trying. It was passionate projects. Now it's all uniformed, it's all sanitized, and it is all just surgically prepared to pinpoint and to just prey on every player and grab every last penny that they can from its players. And now you wonder why people don't want to play your games? Really? Like, how does everybody know? How everybody knows what's wrong with these games, but somehow these big studios still don't get the memo. I don't understand.
I want to talk about their plans, what they just got caught doing, and I want to talk about how they've hollowed out their entire company because of their greed. More than that, I want to talk about just how ugly live service is going to get. These guys won't stop. I don't know about you guys, but Activision, for me, at the very least, is probably the most painful betrayal when it comes to the games that I grew up with and what they've turned into today. Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot were some of my favorite games when I was growing up. Every single weekend, my brother and I had a tradition where we'd scavenge the house for loose change, run down to the convenience store across the block, buy some Dr. Pepper, some Flaming Hot Cheetos, some Reese's, run back to the house, and just jam Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and...
Bro, Tony Hawk Pro Skater games and all of the clones that came out. I remember I was playing shit out of the BMX game. These kind of like score... Excuse me, 1 second. What can I say? I'm hungry. But these kind of games, they were the best, because you would just chase out the high score and you would grinding on railings, you were just doing flips, doing flips, and we were talking so much about like Pro Skater. It was the thing, like the Pro Skater, the one we played the original one, the first one, right? Well, I didn't play it because like I don't want to dive into it, but let's say that my parents they were not fans of video games, and I had limited resources if it comes. But the kids, they will always find a way. My way was Tommy. Tommy was my classmate, and every time we had free time, we'd just go chill at Tommy's and we would play video games. We would take turns. Like, of course, Tommy, it was his PC, so he would play like 90% of the time, but sometimes he let us play as well. And we would like play all of these games. And then one day I got the BMX game, which was like a clone of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I got it for free because it was on the gaming magazine. I was playing shit ton out of that. That wasn't even a full game, I think. I just played the demo. But I didn't care. It was the soundtrack was great, and I had fun. I would play demo of a game for hours and hours to no end. Like, I can imagine playing one of those live service slob that they are serving us right now for hours and hours to no end. And yes, it comes like a hypocrisy from a guy who plays MMOs all the time. But MMOs are kind of different kind of forms, right? I'm talking about like the Fortnite or the Call of Duties, the 1 and 1,000 of like extraction shooters and all of this slop that they are serving. I didn't even know these games because I'm like, usually when I just see it in the shop or like a review somewhere, I'm like, yeah, this kind of thing, it's gonna suck anyway, and just ignore it because that's what I do. It's not up my alley. Like the difference between games between now and then is like huge. And even if you look at this game that he has on the screen, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, compared to today's standard, the graphics looks like shit. But somehow we did love these kind of games because the gameplay was appropriate for the time. And we loved chasing scores. We just loved exploring these little pixelated worlds. Because we did feel the passion, and we did feel like the developers were trying to deliver something that was of value. And that value wasn't money. That value was, we want to make fun game that will make people happy. And they're going to pay us for it. That was the secondary thought. Nowadays, it's the other way around. It's always money first, and that's exactly what is fucked up. And even if these companies know this, they cannot do this other way because board, investors, it's fucked up. The gaming is like indie developers are the only real games that are still coming out. Everything else is just predatory slop.
Madden all day. Later then came Call of Duty 2, and that changed everything for me. That was one of the first times that I played a game online. It was also the first time that I made friends through a game online, friends that I still play with and talk to today. And then after that, then Modern Warfare dropped. Over 13 million copies sold in 2008 alone. That game didn't just dominate in sales. It became a cultural milestone, a default personality type for an entire generation of kids. It was the game. After that, we got Guitar Hero, and I don't know if this is a universal thing, but where I grew up, Guitar Hero was like the party game. It didn't matter if you knew anyone. If that plastic guitar was plugged in, you were a part of that room. People would crowd around and watch, either heckling or awestruck by your skill. It was the social equalizer at the time. I would spend hours in my basement practicing expert mode just because I wanted to be good, because I needed to show off. I mean, these weren't just games, these were landmarks, and all of them were published by Activision. Through the 2000s and into the 2010s, Activision sat at the peak of the gaming industry, and honestly, it felt like it was the peak of gaming itself, too. These were titles that helped drag gaming into the mainstream. Before this era, gaming was still something to be mocked. You were either a kid or a neckbeard, but Call of Duty...
Yeah, that's also a thing. All of those good memories, funnily enough, are coming to a time where you would be ashamed for being called gamer, right? You never really, and especially here in Central Europe, like we still have a lot of dinosaurs who are looking at gamers through fingers and like, why do you have this weird hobby? Can't you be normal? And then they go and blew all of their paycheck in a pub for a beer, right? And vodkas, but like But like back in the day, it was like, yeah, if you were lucky and you had a collective of like guys who loved playing games around you, then it was fine. But you still wouldn't go around and talking about how you are a gamer. It was looking bad. And despite all of that, we loved that. We loved gaming. And then the gaming went mainstream. So all the fucking corporate leeches immediately jumped the wagon and started wreaking havoc, started looking at how to get rich and how to be greedy, because there is new mainstream thing, it's next television, it's gaming, so let's just milk all those idiots out. And the worst part is that sometimes you even hear like, what was it, Ubisoft? No, not Ubisoft, BioWare. So yeah, we are going back to Activision, like there's BioWare, right? Is BioWare under Activision? Let me see. See BioWare. No, company behind Railguard. Oh, it's EA. Okay, the same thing. So EA, right? And then you hear that you're like, well, as these caveman dwellers, losers, they will buy anything that we serve them. Like, what the fuck? And like, this has, like, how can you insult your audience to this point? Like, fuck you, EA. I'm not going to give you a penny anymore in my life. Why would I? I will rather pay for my battle outfits in BDO with the freaking Korean developers. Because while they are shameless about their business practices as well, at least they are not trying to, act like virtue-signaling pussies. And it's just baffling to me. Like, how can pay-to-win Korean grinder game be actually more affordable and much more quality in the delivery compared to these AAA companies? Like, what the fuck?
And Guitar Hero, along with a long list of other great franchises that came out from studios at the time too, changed perception. They didn't just sell, they normalized gaming. They made it cool. And as much as I hate to admit it, a lot of Activision's early success can be traced back to Bobby Kotick. The man behind everything I now despise in this industry also helped bring to life the games that I loved. When he took over in the early 90s, Activision was circling the drain. Kotick came in, he cut costs, he shifted their focus onto games and away from just making software, and rebuilt the company from the ground up. He bet on...
What is actually funny? That we are living in an age where fucking Bobby Kotick is no longer considered like a villain of gaming industry. He's considered like, it was actually better when he was in charge. Because now it's worse. Like, okay. Great job. We're gonna look back at Bobby Kotick and smile. Because nothing he could brought upon our heads is as bad as it is now. How ironic is that?
On big partnerships, Neversoft with Tony Hawk, Naughty Dog with Crash Bandicoot, Insomniac with Spyro. Then he moved on to acquisitions, locking down studios like Infinity Ward so he could control their IPs outright. The strategy was clear. Build lasting franchises, release consistently, and hype them up like clockwork. And it worked. Kotick saw that gaming, not film or TV, was the future, and he pushed Activision towards that front. These games were designed to be accessible but deep, something that anybody could pick up but difficult to master, packed with iconic music to make sure that they were cultural.
Okay, sorry, I forgot something. Let me just pause the... Oh, here's a video. You can go give him a like if you want to. It's called Legendary Drops. But a lot of gamers probably know him. He's well-established content creator.
Relatable at the time, threw in some slick marketing and built-in social experiences. These games weren't just fun, they felt cool. But let's not get it twisted, because none of this ever came from the love of the craft. This wasn't about the games themselves, it was always about the margins. Once Activision peaked, their focus shifted from making great games to extracting as much money as they possibly could from them. That's when reoccurring revenue took over, microtransactions, subscription models, games built with layered monetization baked in. That 2008 merger with them and Vivendi Games was all about acquiring Blizzard and its cash machine, World of Warcraft, which is...
Well, that is true, but on the other hand, up to a certain point, before they introduced like WoW Token and Cash Shop, the World of Warcraft was actually quite reasonable model, because if you want a game where you have a lot of people playing together at all times and they can keep playing, you know, it's an MMO and you want also new content for this MMO. So these players, all of those guilds that are playing together and create friends, you know, and want to go to adventure. So they are supplied by new adventures. So they have something to do. It is reasonable to expect that there should be a subscription. And to be fair, they didn't really increase the price of the subscription that much in the years. I think they didn't even increase it at all. Like they did eventually snuck in the other stupid predatory monetization, like the transmogrification shop, you know, and the fact that you can buy your game time for gold and buy your gold for, well, virtual game time, you know, WoW token, these sort of things, which kind of undermined the trust that people had in World of Warcraft. But before all of this bullshit, for couple of good years, the World of Warcraft was actually very reasonable. And like having that monthly subscription, like, yeah, it was unthinkable at the time. It was like, I need to pay monthly to playing a game. It was like concept so new to me. But I can see the reasoning. Like, this is a game where they need to pay the servers, they need to pay the new content, you know, you can play with other people. It's essentially just a fee to enter the club, you know, and after all, it costs on average as like one, not even one, like a half of an evening that you would spend in a club or in a pub, so like for a month. So, you know, the subscription based in MMOs makes sense. Now look at the freaking New World. Like the game is dead, but it's free, and you still have asshats who are complaining that they needed to give them another $20 for Hungry of the Earth expansion. Like, what were you expect? Like, you wanted MMO that you can play free forever, and you want it to be good? No, it's unsustainable. I digress.
Was already pulling in over $1 billion a year in subs. After that, they turned to Call of Duty. In 2011, Elite launched alongside Modern Warfare 3 as a paid service with stat tracking and premium DLC access. It wasn't full-blown live service at the time, but it was their first serious test to see just how much more money they could squeeze out. Then came Destiny, releasing in 2014 under Bungie, published by Activision, and it was a live service game from day one. Expansion, seasonal updates,
You know what I find ironic? I consider Destiny a young game. It has been 11 years. I'm fucking old, man.
Cosmetic stores, time-gated content, and it worked. Destiny didn't just make money, it trained players to expect and accept this model. By 2016, this strategy had already paid off. Activision Blizzard's value had tripled by then, with analysts pointing directly to their shift towards live service. World of Warcraft was still printing cash, Destiny was stable, the model was locked in. Then came Modern Warfare in 2019, a soft reboot and the first Call of Duty with a battle pass. Not just a way to earn content, but a behavioral loop designed to build a habit. That next year, Warzone then launched, free-to-play, cross-platform progression, rotating seasons, constantly shifting storefronts. It was the complete live service package, and it worked. Warzone wasn't just a hit, it was the new blueprint. The wild part is how fast all of this happened. Battle passes, cosmetics, seasonal grinds, they all feel like they've always been a part of the formula. Like these things have always been here, but they're still recent. We've only been dealing with a lot of the fallout from this for only, the past 5 years? Activision just kept pushing the line every year, a little further. In 5 years, they completely rewrote the rules. And none of this is improv, by the way. These guys have been planning this for a long time. Back in 2017, they had already filed for a patent, a system or a method for driving microtransactions in multiplayer video games. The core idea? Use matchmaking to manipulate.
Yeah, I remember that one. And then they were like, guys, we just patented it, but we didn't really implement it, you know? It's okay. Well, excuse me for being a little skeptical if we found out that you patented such a bullshit. And why are you so gimmicky then? Why are you so skittery? Why are you so jittery about it then? It's almost like, that patent is something that is like publicly accessible. So why you suddenly are not so pleased when people find out about you filing that patent, huh? It's interesting. It's almost as if you already knew that it is something not so ethical and that it will not resonate with the players too much, hey? Well, guys, sorry, we didn't implement it. We're sorry. Really trust us. Just give us your money. It's all we want. Please, buy our next, Call of Duty 69, the super modern Warcraft edition, and shut up. And don't look at our patents, okay? You're not here to think, you're here to pay. Fuck you, Activision.
Players into spending. Pair lower spending players with higher performing ones covered in premium cosmetics and make them believe that the cosmetics are the difference. Dress for success. The patent spells it out. A junior player may wish to emulate the marquee player by obtaining weapons or items used by the marquee player. These guys were engineering insecurity, building systems not to improve their gameplay, but to make you feel worse unless you played. That philosophy hasn't gone away. It has become their foundation. Today,
they will do everything they can get away with just to squeeze every last penny that they can. It's disgusting. But it's as I said on the beginning of this reaction, you cannot expect infinite growth. You cannot expect your player base to not be fed up with you. And you cannot how are you surprised that indie games are performing better than your shit show designed to milking money? Of course they do perform better because indie games are designed with the game first. You design a game for players to enjoy. That should be game design philosophy. You flip the script. You got away with it because of momentum, because once you were successful companies, you built out momentum, people trusted you, and people think that since you are delivering good games now, you will be delivering good games in the future. But that momentum is falling off with ever predatory, monetized slop you release. You are essentially putting blockages on your own racetrack, and then you are surprised you are not finishing on the first place. It's so easy to grasp, and nothing your PR team, nothing your social engineering can do to reverse this. People hate all of you now. Your players, your loyal fans now hate you and meme on you. How are you still in business? I don't know. But it is good to see that there is decline. And there will continue to be decline because even the most dumbest, the thickest skilled player in the universe will get fed up eventually. And will stop buying your bullshit.
Call of Duty has battle passes stacked on top of battle passes. In some cases, their battle passes have battle passes. Microtransactions that cost more than the game itself.
Wait, what? Battle passes that have battle passes? So you need to buy battle pass to get a dog. We heard you like battle passes, so we put battle pass in your battle pass so you can battle pass. So are you battle pass? Thumbs up. Activision approved. Yeah.
Inch of content has been carved out and sold back to you. Just last month, leaks revealed that they are planning on locking limited time modes behind battle passes, literally time gating and paywalling playable content. No. That trend has continued, and just recently, Activision got caught.
Every time I hear about such bullshit, I'm like, yes, please do this, please, 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 because I'm a gremlin and I want to see all the outrage. And like all of the videos on YouTube, like everybody is complaining about it and dunking on the corporation even more because it's fun as hell to watch. I'm not going to play it, but please implement these wonderful changes and wonderful new like time gating systems and monetized systems that you developed in your infinite wisdom. Please do. I can't wait.
Testing in-game advertisements inside of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. According to a PC Gamer report by Ellie Gold, players noticed bundle promotions embedded directly into the weapon select menu. The feature was quietly removed after backlash, with Activision claiming it was a UI feature test.
Yeah, UI feature test where you were testing how much more you can monetize your game. That was the test actually. You know what they should do? They should actually implement things like I don't know, like wraps for carpal tunnels and ointment for hemorrhoids, because this is for your target audience. But like, you know, you are acting like the gamers are cave-dwelling trolls, so you might as well just embrace this, you know, and just advertise the products, you know, make partnership with some fitfluencer, you know, how to lose fat fast if you are a gamer and that sort of stuff. Yeah, I even found out a channel where it's like a guy who's selling HEMA curses for gamers, and he specifically said it's for gamers. It's only for longsword because he doesn't do anything else, but it's for like HEMA curses for gamers, and he also say how he despises gamers. So I think that would be ideal partner for these corporations. Fucking hell.
That went live by mistake. Of course, the players didn't buy it. One Reddit user pointed out that the game has already raised its price of its premium Black Cell Pass, which I think is...
Oh yeah, by the way, we are paying. So you need to pay them like $60 or no, why am I kidding? Now it's like $70 to $80 for a game. Then like another $40 for the season pass, so you can get all of the DLCs, and then you need to like subscribe for your battle pass and all of that, so you can see advertisements on your screen in your UI feature test. That's I think yeah, you know what, yeah, where can I sign up?
The second battle pass that's inside of the game without fixing any of their long-standing bugs. So seeing an ad placement take priority only adds further insult. Others had said if this is a free-to-play game like Warzone, then maybe it would be expected, but Black Ops 6 is a fully priced release. One commenter called it pathetic, sure, comparing it to a desperate mobile game constantly begging for more cash. The writer then goes on to say, even if this was an honest mistake, the fact that Activision was running a test like this clearly means that ads as a feature is something it feels worth trying out, and that is at least being talked about. They went on to bring up other controversies, like how they recently charged $90 for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bundle and $28 for Squid Game skins that completely missed the point of the show. Now, what I think the writer misses, and what a lot of people probably just resigned themselves to at this point, is that this wasn't some accidental leak. It was a test. It was a proof of concept. Sure, a Reddit post.
Of course it wasn't accidental. They are just testing the waters. They are testing what they can get away with. So how it works is that they are just poking players with more and more bullshit, and when they get backlash, then they employ their PR team of professionals to do damage control. So they start making excuses how it was a mistake and it was just it was just a UI test and we didn't really mean it and we're sorry and all of this corporate bullshit. But like, corporations were doing this forever. Like, this is to be expected because they are acting like a corporation. They are no longer game developers. No. They are just corporation. They exist to suck out money of people. That's their point. It's their thing.
Post got 1,000 upvotes. Ooh, big deal. Activision was tracking something else entirely. How many people clicked on that ad in the loadout screen? That's the real metric here. This wasn't some placeholder code. These guys paid developers to build that UI, design that asset, and then wire it into the game. That is not a glitch. That's a roadmap. What's hilarious to me, and honestly inevitable at this point, is how these guys have basically just turned into Korean MMO developers. They have completely surrendered themselves to monetization. For the past 5 years, they have made more money than they know what to do with, yet all of their focus is on building more gateways to more spending. Yet in the process, they have torched their reputation and they have sacrificed the quality of the content itself. Black Ops 6 and Warzone just aren't good games to play anymore because they...
I think, first, you've done Korean MMO developers dirty. Second, because they are not this bad. Second, in Korea, or generally in Asia. I'm not gonna go into like how fucked up that is, but the fact is that in Asia, especially in Korea, if you are a gamer, people are actually looking at you with respect if you are spending money onto your game. I don't disagree with that mentality. I don't like that mentality. You know, we Western players, we like to pile on the freaking pay to win guys, right? You know, the whole like the Asmongold fiasco a couple of years back when he told people to spit on people who spent money on cash shop, and then Blizzard reacted and had to take away the spit emote. So that their paying customers are not feeling bullied. But this is showcasing the Western mentality. So if you take this like mindset of selling advantages and conveniences to people for money and creating as much hurdles for players as possible and trying to be as obnoxious as possible unless you pay, otherwise you won't be able to enjoy the game to its fullest, which is like that Korean mentality. If you implement it to the Western game, to the Western audience, people are going to hate you. We fucking hate pay-to-win people. We don't like pay-to-win. We like our games, to buy our games and play our games. We don't like to be forced to buy it. And we especially despise people who are actually buying it, you know. If there is a game in which and you can be a whale in that game, most Western people will just meme on the whale. They will hate them. They will bully them. They will not be respected members of gaming community as they are in Korea or in Asian countries. Of course, this might vary, you know, it's highly subjective, but generally, on average, the sentiment is, in Korea, if you are like spending your life savings on the game, your guildies will love you. If you're doing the same in the West, like, fucking whale, get out of here, we hate you, go censor yourself, etc. So, that's about it.
Never take their foot off the gas. There was this brief moment where they had floated the idea of staggering Call of Duty releases, giving a little bit of time for the teams to be able to improve the engine and letting the players have some room to breathe as well. But that plan lasted for about 5 minutes before they just cranked out another Rush sequel. And it's not like the players haven't noticed. One of the Redditors had nailed it. They said that they would rather build out ad tech before fixing game-breaking issues. Performance is dipped in these games. Cheating is absolutely rampant. Whether it's modded controllers, soft hacks, or wall hacks, it's rare to play a full match, especially in Warzone.
And like, now we are getting to a territory where they are trying to pump the games too fast to keep their growth. That those games are absolutely terrible. They are riddled with bugs, you know, networking doesn't work, you know, you cannot get into the match because matchmaking sucks. There are a million of game-breaking bugs. But what players get? Another battle pass. Yeah, okay, sure. And we want Bobby back.
Without running into somebody that's exploiting the game. And none of that ever gets fixed because there's never any time for it. Every year is a reset, a new game, a new store, a new monetization cycle, and all of it pulls focus away from what's broken. I mean, even the install size of these games have become a punchline. Call of Duty ballooned from 30 gigs to nearly 500 gigs, now requiring its own dedicated drive just to play. I talked with current and former Call of Duty developers, and they all said
500 gigabytes. Okay. Can even people play this on consoles anymore? Or is it like, yeah. So I have like a gaming console, so now I have a choice, you know. I can install one Call of Duty game. Or I can install like 10 to 20 AAA games from other studios. What am I gonna do? It's a mystery.
the exact same thing. They said if we just had one more
500 gigabytes. What the fuck are you even putting in there? Have you never heard the word optimization before? It's baffling to me because I came from an age where you could cram like 10 games on a fucking floppy disk. that was like about 1 megabyte huge. 10 games. And good games for that regard. What the fuck are you doing? Don't tell me. Don't tell me that you need... Who needs half a tera for a fucking game? Like, there is no excuse. It's just pure laziness and incompetence. Over 100 is enough. Yeah. 500 is useless devs. Exactly. Like, over 100, if you have, like, game with top-notch textures and lots of contents, you know, I don't know, the stupid open world Assassin's Creed that are bloated because the world is so big and they need a lot of textures and you know, a lot of data like this. It's over 100 gigabytes. I think Valhalla doesn't go over 100 even. But half a tera. What the fuck? Are you insane?
For a year, a single development cycle, they could fix it. But that year never comes, and every single new release buries the engine deeper under patchwork code and tech debt that nobody has the time to clean up. And now that's catching up to these guys. What I've been saying on this channel...
It is possible your game can do 8K or even more, but most people aren't going to use it, so packing it in a base game is just incompetence. Well, even if you would pack something like this, I don't think you should go over. That is some incompetence in like... This is like zero optimization of your game. Like none. Like no wonder these games are littered with bugs. Because it is freaking spaghetti code. Straight up.
For the last couple of years now is happening in real time. You cannot ignore quality forever. Since Black Ops 6 launched, the series has hit its lowest player count in history. In March, 87% of the player base was gone. Even with its latest update, they're still down 77%.
Oh, I really wonder why. Like, what happened, guys? I think we've done bad. I think we should probably change something, Well, but we should better figure it out before Tuesday when we are releasing next Call of Duty game. So, guys, brainstorming ideas? No, just this is how I imagine the Activision, meeting room.
Not even the return of Verdansk could save the game because the same broken foundation is still there. Quality is never an accident. It is always the result of intelligent effort. Eric Fromm, 1947, man for himself, meaning that a lack in quality is a conscious effort to put your focus elsewhere, which is exactly what Activision Blizzard has been doing for years now. Bobby got off just at the perfect time because he knew exactly what was coming on down the line. You could only focus on monetization first for so long. You can only sacrifice the quality of the product for so long before eventually that's all going to come to catch up with you.
Isn't Bobby like now doubling into unions and actually going to fight these guys that he led to first he led the industry into this state, and now he's going, I actually starting to respect Bobby because he just he knows where the shit is, he is like a rat, he was just happy sleeping in the warehouse of this huge ship that like Activision is, and then now that the ship is sinking, he jumped into another ship. Just continue to living the life, like, yeah. Fucking hell.
And I think it already has. Looking at their entire catalog, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Diablo, Overwatch, most of their games are whatever. I can't play Warzone. I tried to go back. I wanted to go back. I love Verdansk. I love playing.
I was playing Diablo 3 sporadically. Somehow. I was always like, it wasn't a game that I would like love to the bone, but in case of Diablo 3, it was me like always. I always just dived in, played for like intensely for like 2 weeks. It was fun, then kind of fall off, and I was like in this back and forth relationship with the game for like the entirety of the game. I got it. I think it was like the Mist of Pandaria or Cataclysm, and they did have like if you pay us for like a year of World of Warcraft subscription, we will give you Diablo 3 for free. And I was like, what the heck? Why not? And ever since I played the game, back and forth, and then Diablo 4 came out, and I like the aesthetics at first, I like my little rogue, running, the story, kind of a little bit interesting. The first few cutscenes were phenomenal. But I was like, there is like a battle pass, and there are like cosmetics everywhere, and all of the new shit, and it's just pay, you know, pay this, pay that, you know, and you cannot have anything if you don't pay. You will look like a loser. I was like, do I need this 90 gigabytes of worthless trash on my hard drive if I didn't even finish the game before they launched their first fucking DLC with new class and showcasing how awesome this class is? You know, pay us more for a new act. And I was like, I uninstalled and I'm not going to play that shit again. They just managed to always find a way how to ruin everything, even if there is like spark of a good game under all of the bullshit. They will just smother it down. I just let it die. That's what they're doing. Like, I feel so satisfied from buying Clair Obscur. I haven't even finished the game yet. I am taking my time because I love that game so much. I am streaming it like 2-3 hours at a time, trying to go with the struggles, you know, understanding the story, speaking with those lovable characters that are there in Gustav's camp. All of the, and I don't even play turn-based games, but that game is just such a like hit. It hit some sort of weird nostalgia from the past, because when I started playing that game, I felt like I'm 20 years younger. I'm that teen kid, you know, in my 18s, that are just playing the games for fun of the playing the games, and it's something completely different than majority of the games that these once good studios are pumping now. It's so different, and that gap is so huge. Same with Baldur's Gate 3, by the way. But not even Baldur's Gate 3 made me want to play turn-based combat game. Expedition 33 did. And that is saying something.
Warzone with the boys. But the minute that I hop back into the game, whether it was the quality of the game or the monetization of it, there was just no way. I got to put 20 to 30 hours into it just to be able to grind weapons and perks, to be able to be viable in Warzone. Then while I'm doing that, I'm noticing that people are running around in pay-to-win skins and they're blending into the environment. On top of that, a couple of the matches that I got into, the two that I actually tried for Warzone, immediately got hacked on the minute that I dropped in. No, dude. I'm not.
Well, you need to pay, dude. You need to shape up. Like, who do you think you are? You think you can just go in without any pay-to-win skins and start winning games? Give them $100 first. Maybe you will win some. What are you doing, dude?
I'm not giving you my time or my money. Thank you for the review copy of Black Ops 6, by the way. I never thanked you guys for that. I appreciate it. Fix your game.
Oh my god.
You know, I've always heard people say that Call of Duty...
He will never get any copy ever again from them. That's what this. But worth it. Okay, worth it. Good on you, dude. Good on you.
Will never die. But that's like saying a rainforest will never burn. All you need is the right set of circumstances. A couple of dry seasons, somebody left out an oily rag, somebody left a campfire still burning, maybe there was a strike of lightning. All of a sudden, it's all going up in flames. Look at Overwatch right now. They push their players, they push their buttons, they lowered the quality of the...
Overwatch still exists? I thought they closed that shit. Well, I didn't really thought that, but might as well. Because that thing is dead.
Game, they stole the copy that they paid for, turned it into a worst version of that game, increased the monetization. While the Rivals pops up, bam, everybody's gone. Just like that. You have to respect the player. You have to respect the quality of the product.
But they don't want to respect the player. They don't want to respect the quality. They just think that they can continuously just have their slime factory producing sloppy slimes, throwing it at the wall, and it will stick to the wall and it will give them money. This is how they operate. This is how they think.
You can try to make as much money as you want, but those things always have to come first. And the funny thing is, it's not just Activision. It's a whole slew of companies that are following the same playbook, the same blueprint. They're all locked into the same kind of mentality. Even
do you think there's like a secret club or like CEOs of all these companies and like the board and investors, they just go, drinking and patting each other on the back, and like, we just sucked so much money from those idiot gamers this month. Like, what do you got? Good on you, Activision. Good on you. Like, and it's like EA is like the big boss. He probably owns the club, so he's like sitting there and I'm so proud of you boys. Let's milk them dry. But we really need to do something about those indie games. Like, do you know any good hitmen in your area? Like that Schedule 1, it needs to go. And Ubisoft, what the fuck is that with like your developers leaving and actually making quality games? This needs to stop. Put them on short leash or something. Probably. I don't know. They should make a Netflix movie based on this. I will sell them the rights. Just contact me. Contact me on my email. grumpymyosticonsulting@outlook.com.
Even with seeing players leaving their games, even with seeing new competition springing up, even with indie games turning people's heads, these guys, their entire mindset is monetization. It's manipulation. It's shareholder interest. It's the only thing that these guys think about. And if the last few years, I want you guys to think about this. If the last few years have been about live service, then tell me, what are the next few years going to be about? Because I'm pretty sure it's going to be even worse. Finding ways to squeeze more money out of fewer players.
No, they just fire away all of the developers, right? Replace them with AI, and as AI is going to be generating slop, they will increase the prices of the each game for like $100, and you will be able to play 124 early access, and during that early access you will actually work for them to playtest their game, because they also fired the whole QA team, even though they did it a while ago. But they even fired Bob, which is like the last guy who is there sitting in like this dusty room with cobwebs around it. There's like the QA is no longer visible because nobody was cleaning in the basement for a long time. So they fired Bob as well, even though Bob is probably already dead because he died of hunger, because they didn't really let him out. So now the players will be their beta testers and play testers, and basically working for them as a QA, and they will turn all of the tickets with bugs to prompt to their chat GPT to generate them more code. That's what's gonna happen.
I try not to just react to what's happening now, and I try to think about where all of this is headed, because the truth is, just about every part of gaming today is monetized, or designed to be at the very least. It all started with the premium editions, and then came in paying to play online for consoles, MMO subscriptions, expansions for full-priced games. Then we got Horse Armor, Farmville came along and made microtransactions mainstream. And then from there, it all escalated. Cash shops, battle passes, seasonal content, gacha games. Every single year, more gets locked behind a paywall, more psychological tricks get baked into these games, and the value of the product is gutted in the process. But what I think a lot of people still believe is that this is the end point, that this is as bad as it can get. Sure, publishers are already selling everything that's not nailed down to the ground, and people are still buying these games. So what else could they possibly do? Charge $5 to reload their guns like Riccatello joked? No, I don't think that's the case.
I don't think that was a joke. I think that idiot was that serious about it. I think he was serious.
Because that's the wrong question to ask. Even the greediest executives out there know that there's a point in which players are going to walk away. And that's where the shift is happening. With the rise of live service games and battle passes, the gaming community has become far more transient than it's ever been before. People are bouncing between titles instead of just sticking with one, and studios are starting to adapt to that. Most of them don't even try to keep you in the game forever anymore. They just extract as much as they possibly can while you're still there. The goal isn't to make a little money from everyone, it's to squeeze as much as you possibly can out of each individual player. I mean, we've seen this play out for years with pay-to-win Korean MMOs and gacha games. The top-tier content is locked behind absurd paywalls. It doesn't matter how much time you invest into these games. If you're not spending, you are never going to reach some of those endgame modes, or at least not to the level that you would like to. And when players start to drop off, these games don't scale back. They double down. They stretch out the goalposts. They cater harder to those top spenders, and they shrink their audience just to the people who are willing to bankroll the entire system. And now more companies are starting to follow that path. They are tired of players who spend nothing.
Do you remember those old school shooters from Nexon? I think it was Nexon games, like Wolf Team or whatever it was called, and then like 100 of other shooter games. where you could like buy better guns and all of the bullshit straight up from and cosmetics and everything straight up from the shops, and they gave you like absolute dog shit minimum to keep you in the game, so the whales had something to feed on. I was like, it was about like 15-20 years ago when these games were prevalent, and people were still playing them because it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as the shit that they are producing now. And people are so dull that they don't even see it. Like, we are living in an age where that Wolf Team game wouldn't actually be seen as bad. People would actually enjoy it, even if they have to like spend extra few bucks to buy a better gun. How awesome is that?
Or people that just don't spend enough for them, so they have started to ask themselves the next question: how do we make money off of people who don't pay? In some cases, we've already seen free-to-play or low-spending players use as fodder for whales. It's something that has been talked about openly at industry conferences. People have seen the videos of that kind of stuff by now, and it's also been talked about behind closed doors, where...
Yeah, it is absolutely disgusting. Like, let's monetize even those who don't pay. You know, because whales need some plankton to eat, right? Because other than that, even whales will die of hunger if you don't feed them. So who are we going to feed to the whales? The free-to-play guys. Yep. You know, we must not let the whale lose. So we will do the matchmaking in a way that whale is actually going to be always matched against somebody they can defeat. Well, they will lose sometimes, you know, but you know, try to limit the skill issue to the minimum, right? God forbid that Timmy, who is 13 years old and playing this game non-stop in his basement, is actually going to defeat the Mr. Whale who spent like $2,000 in the last 2 months for like the best army or best gun or best whatever, depending on the game. No, Timmy has to lose. Okay, because Timmy is the teenager. You know, he can't do shit. He won't pay us any money anyway. We don't give a fuck if he stays or lose. You know, but sometimes we should give like a Timmy like a nice, cute little free skin, so Timmy is happy about something and don't actually leave, because we need Timmy to feed him to the whales. That's about it.
Low spenders are intentionally kept in the ecosystem to enhance the experience for the big spenders. The goal is to create a power fantasy. Maybe you're going to get matched against low spenders in a pay-to-win game and absolutely steamroll them. Maybe you're decked out in some exclusive cosmetics paired against under-geared players to look more skilled. It's the same logic that's baked into that Activision patent that they filed years ago. Weaponized comparison dressed up as matchmaking. But I think this is just the beginning, and where it's headed is even worse, because what Activision had showed off of their accidental in-game ad that was slipped into the Call of Duty loadout screen, that wasn't a glitch, that was a test. And more importantly, that is their next logical step: in-game ad space for revenue. If you guys remember, Ubisoft pulled the exact same stunt last year, pushing ads on the pause screen of Assassin's Creed. Xbox already hits you with a full screen ad the second that you power on the console, and right now, these ads are just for their own products.
Yeah, the same by the way with Battle.net. You start up the Battle.net because you want to play World of Warcraft. Bam! Hearthstone advertisement. Bam! Call of Duty advertisement. Bam! Like Overwatch advertisement. Bam! Evolved. Go play Evolved. It's amazing game, we promise. Yay! I hate that shit so much. Like, I'm gonna be honest, every time I open Battle.net, just to play my World of Warcraft, either classic or retail, because I love both, and one of these shit is hitting me in the face, I'm always a little bit closer to unsubscribing and deleting that shit out of my system. I'm not even kidding.
Cosmetics, battle passes, other games, but that's just phase one. The real money is going to come in when they start selling it to third parties. And I really don't think that future is very far off. For the next 5 years, probably even sooner than that, we're going to start seeing brands like McDonald's, DoorDash, or Walmart embedded directly into loadout screens. Or
well, it depends, right? I don't think they will be allowed. I don't think they will be allowed to do that in the European Union. Actually, I think that for that you would have to have the agreement of the user to be able to give them such advertisement. if you don't give such agreement, then they are not allowed to show this to you. So what we're going to see is actually going to be great mental gymnastics, how they are going to try to flip the script in a way to go around GDPR and these sort of customer protections that are established in the civilized world, which is, I don't consider US civilized, by the way, not by a long shot, because you have zero protection for common people from these assets, from these executives. Like none.
Menu interfaces, especially in free-to-play titles. According to eMarketer's report from January, global digital ad spending is expected to surpass $1 trillion this year, with 75% of it going to digital platforms. That is an ocean of cash, and the game industry is going to want in. We've already...
Okay, it is also the matter of how much money they can make, right? They also can do just... because usually what European Union is they heavily penalize these companies if they are breaking these directives. So what also can happen, if this will be profitable enough, they will just happily pay the fee every year, and we'll just have it as a expendable investment to their growing business, and we will still see these ads unless the legislative will get even more strict, which it should. You know, it would be funny if EU would just slam their fist in the table and would say, you know, these fines are no longer going to be like set in a constant. They are going to be a percentage of the margin that they make each year, or like last year. That would stop them out. I'm just derailing now.
We've seen advertisements creep into every corner of our lives. Social media, search engines, streaming platforms. Hell, Hulu and Netflix now offer ad-supported tiers just to squeeze more money out of the users who can't or won't pay full price. The game industry sees that model, and they're chasing it. Now, product placement in games isn't anything new. Sports games already rake in millions of dollars on branded content, and it works for those games because it adds authenticity. You want that inside of these arenas. PlayStation, on the other hand, their upcoming game Intergalactic already has branded placements from Porsche and other companies as well. But that's going to expand. My prediction is that we are going to see a massive wide industry pivot from games made for prestige, quality, and popularity to games being designed to maximize revenue per individual player. We're going to see single-player games lean harder into product placement, since traditional advertising is going to feel a little bit too intrusive for those games, at least for now. But multiplayer and live service games, those guys are going to be wide open. That's where we're going to see all of the real-time ad integrations, dynamic billboards, loadout screens that are going to be sponsored by brands, anything that pushes the revenue needle forward.
Yeah, that's true. But like, in the end of the day, like, people need to stop playing these games. That's about it. So like, it's all about how far can you push it before people get fed up. I think a lot of people are fed up. They will rather go play Schedule 1 for next 10 years than double into these live service stupidities, right? So it's just partially, and this is not like victim blaming or anything, but partially this is on gamers too, because we are enabling them. We are still consuming their slop, even if we know they are putting all of this bullshit in. So there would need to be, if they do not cross the imaginary line, and they will just tenderize their player base enough, then maybe they will be able to get away with this long term for a long time still.
The biggest companies in this industry have already proven that they will sell their soul for an extra $10, but you can only raise the base price of games so much. You can only carve out so much of your content so many times before there's nothing left. But passive income is endless, and it's coming. You guys are going to hate me for bringing this up, and I hate to be the one to tell you, but I don't think it's going to end there. If anything, advertising is just one piece of what's coming.
Nobody's going to hate you for that, dude. Just players sure not going to hate you for telling the truth. Like, Yeah, there are a couple of deranged individuals that are hating on everything at all times, but I don't think you should take these like haters seriously, because their own identity revolves around hating on things, and they will hate on anything. Like, you can say the sky is blue, and they will come to the comments and start cheating on you for that. So it doesn't matter. But nobody sane is going to hate on you for saying this.
The other, something that these companies are working on, have already been quietly doing under the guise of moderation and improving your experience, is data harvesting. Right now, most of these companies collect your name, address, age, and gender by default, but it doesn't stop there. They collect play data, in-game behavior, decision-making tendencies. Basically, anything that can be tracked is being tracked. And we've already seen these guys getting caught. Microsoft was fined $20 million for collecting personal data from kids that were signing up for Xbox accounts.
Jesus Christ. Absolutely shameless. Like, good job that we have freaking laws against child labor, because these are the same people who would luckily like lock all of the little Timmies into the factory and let them slave for free if they could, you know, and just not even let little Timmy go to the school, because what do they need to be educated for, you know? Just Timmy just need to be in the factory, you know, and for free, just doing it my machine. Like, what does he need education? Like, thank God that we have laws that forbid child labor and things like this, because it is everywhere. It is not like in here. It is just the relationship between company and the players and how they are trying to milk the players. But there's also something about the employee and employer. Like, I guarantee you that most of the developers that are being forced to make these shitty ass games filled with like predatory monetization models, they are critically underpaid, you know, and they're being told like, shut up, you're working for Activision, you should be grateful for that. You know, if you try to like tell us to give you some slack or give you more money, and we will fucking fire your ass and replace you with the first intern that is being hungry for job opportunity on your resume. Like, we are giving you a favor. We are making you a favor that you can even write to your resume that you are working for us. So like shut up. I can lively imagine that this is the case in these companies. Because like any corporation is fucking disgusting in its culture, in its relationship towards its employees, in its relationship towards its customers. They would kill for money if they could. They will do everything that is legal. And sometimes they will even cross to the gray area.
Epic was just hit with a staggering $520 million fine for Fortnite, not just for data collection, but using that data to build dark patterns targeting children into making purchases. Ubisoft, they're currently under investigation, facing an $85 million lawsuit for quietly harvesting data from single-player games. Now, there are supposed to be protections in place, but that only applies to kids under the age of 13 or when consent isn't given. That's the reason why these guys have been sued in the past. But let's be real here. Consent is just a checkbox that's buried under a wall of legalese that nobody's going to read. That's the reason why end-user license agreements are intentionally convoluted and written in bulk. They're not meant to inform you. They are meant to wear you down. Just click agree.
Yeah, the most fucked up part is that if you do not agree, you cannot play the game. So just you are paying your soul essentially for the privilege, quote unquote, to play the fucking game. It's like, that is amazing. Like, if you find something that you dislike in terms of use, it is not like you can negotiate that. No, you either agree with every disgusting term that they have in there, or you want to play the game. And if you are 13 years old, like, you want to play the game. That's it.
Free and let the data stream begin. And once they have that data, they can use it however they want. Sometimes it's just to personalize your experience, but that can mean anything. Skill-based matchmaking, behavioral targeting, feeding you the right offer at the right moment, silently running A/B tests on you in the background, creating blind focus groups without even telling you, or selling your data to third parties so they can fine-tune their ads to be even more effective. I think this is what passive income is going to look like for these companies.
Use ad blocks. Everywhere you can, just use ad blocks. This is the only way how you can get back to them. right? Or any fucking site that is trying to sell you advertisement, use ad blocks. This is a sad reality we're living in. Because you cannot say no. Well, you can say no, but good luck. You're not going to be able to play our game if you say no, and have fun refunding it. You know, sometimes we might be generous enough to refund you your money if you didn't agree to our terms of service. You know, but there's like it may be in Australia, maybe in Europe, US. You want your money back? Good luck with that. Fuck you. This is not pro-consumer country. Yeah, I'm so glad I'm living in Europe, man. Sometimes
in the coming years, or at least what their next monetization strategy is going to be. And I think this is where the industry is ultimately headed, because what is more profitable than players who don't pay, players who look, players who linger, players who keep their eyes on screen, and the more data they get, the more they...
Oh my God, I still remember that Black Mirror episode. But like that main protagonist was in his room and he was watching like the ads, mandatory ads for like porn and stuff, you know, and he could like waste some of his money to skip the ads, and even he like closed his eyes to not be tired. It, like everything, like there was like this annoying beeping sound and everything went like red and like flashing. I was like, resume watching, not watching the ad is the violation of the terms of service or something stupid like that. We are slowly going towards that direction. It's like the only barrier that is standing between us and that is like European Union and its directives. But that's like honestly one old and crippled guard guarding the village between the rate from the rate of goblins. That's like how it is. Because let's be honest, European Union it's trying. But it's like a lot of time it's just a toothless dog or toothless guarding dog. It doesn't really do as much as it should. Well, at least it's better than nothing, right? But god damn it, you know, we are heading towards this dystopia.
They can sell to them either directly or through targeted engagement. Whether it's Ubisoft scraping play patterns or Call of Duty sliding in ads in their load screen, this is just the beginning. We're only in phase 1 right now. What comes next is just being tested, and most people won't even see it coming. I keep saying this, but these guys are just going to hand off this entire industry on a silver platter to this new generation of publishers and studios that have been turning heads over the past couple of years. The less you focus on the quality of your product and on your customers, the more likely that audience, those customers, are going to start walking away. And we've already seen that happen in a lot of games over the past couple of years. It's that old adage from...
Yeah, sure. That's the only way not to put yourself into that situation is to walk away from that situation. That's the logical course of action. And as I said, they are slowly losing people, one by one, because every single player have this imaginary line somewhere else. But once that company crosses it, the trust is broken, and the player realizes there are other games to play, or maybe even other hobbies entirely. Like as I was saying before, this angry HEMA dude who is trying to sell longsword like lessons to gamers. He's saying that he learned HEMA because he hates video games, and like no matter how cringe his content actually is talking about this, I can kind of see his perspective. He is angry young man who got fed up because video games just take away all of his time and a lot of his money and didn't actually give him anything to achieve. So he just got fed up and he started just practicing longsword. He joined the HEMA community and he uninstalled all of the games, he unsubscribed all of the gaming channels, and he's avoiding the games entirely right now. This is the world where we're living in. And these are the people that are going to leave. His line was crossed, and there will be more.
From Steve Jobs talking about the marketing team taking over and the product people having less influence. It's the only thing these guys understand. They only think about how to make money, how to make more money, how to get their product in front of more people. That's the only thing they think about, because they don't know how to build anything. Take it from somebody that went to school for marketing. It's the only thing that I understand. I wouldn't know anything about how to make a video game. I only know how to sell one more than anything else.
I mean, it's not like I only know how to sell one. So if you are a development company, you need PR guys, you need marketing guys, you need management. That's the bigger your development team is, the more of these people need. It is all working like a clockwork, or it should work like a clockwork. And you can either have like the bad corporation who's employing all of these marketing people and PR people to polish the dirt and sell the polished dirt as diamonds, or you can make amazing things with that. Right? And I like the marketing is needed oftentimes, especially imagine Schedule 1, imagine Clair Obscur, if they did have better marketing teams, they would make even bigger impact on the whole industry. So I don't say I only know this, because everything you bring into the table is usually important. I know what I'm talking about. I was making a living as a consultant, right? And I often felt like I'm a shit compared to developers. But then you realize that people you are selling your products to, if they don't have consultant who helps them implement that product, then they are just as lost as if they didn't have the product in the first place. So every single one of those is important. Except sales guys, yeah, fuck those guys. They are slimy.
Well, I think this is all inevitable. I don't think that it's going to be successful for these guys, because one of the things that they ignore is that all this monetization, baking ads into their games in the future, or the data harvesting, that only works in very specific ecosystems. Gaming is much more controlled by its audience. We are much more vocal and influential because gaming is an active hobby, not a passive one. When you watch something on Netflix, you're consuming. When you're searching for something on Google, you're retrieving. When you're scrolling through Twitter, you're reacting. Those are passive traits. Those are passive things that you're doing. When you are playing a game, you are directly interacting with it. You can directly feel drops in quality or manipulation or whatever it might be. We are experiencing those games, not just consuming them, which means that we will notice it and we will talk about it and we will push back on it. And that's what makes this thing difficult for those guys to actually be able to get through.
No, I think we will just see more of Schedules 1s and Clair Obscurs and Kingdom Come Deliverances. And we just go and play those games. And we will be angry if there will be a game that is looking good and is promised as being good, and then the game is dog shit. And we will feed that to them back. We will cause backlash. We will do refunds throughout Steam, because Steam is like anomaly in all of this shit show. Allowing us to do refunds for like reasonable reasons, that sort of stuff. Allowing us to creating reviews without developers being able to actively boycott those reviews or censor them up, and that sort of thing. So like, it's our responsibility to just don't buy bullshit and don't be bullshitted anymore. I'm sorry for interrupting, dude.
If an ad pops up on Google or Twitter, that doesn't destroy my experience. I barely even notice it. I just scroll past it. But if an ad popped up in my weapon loadout screen or my pause menu, that's going to take me out of the game. That is going.
Yeah, and the proof of this is the mobile games. That shit is like riddled with ads. And even though we can do it like by a quote-unquote ethical way, like we will give you some currency if you watch the ad. Often they just posting those ads on you natively, automatically, whatever you're doing something. For example, this is the reason why I rarely play any mobile game. Like the mobile games that I play like now is the Dead Cells that I have from my Netflix subscription, so it is ad-free. And then I have my Once Human, because, well, sometimes I just like to chop down trees in Once Human, and those ads in the game in the mobile version are like the same as are in the desktop version, and those are mostly just ads for the things in the game, not for the third parties. I don't play any like Clash of Clans and Rides, Shadow Legends, and all of these bullshit games that just are riddled with ads, and ads are just screaming at you on every corner.
Going to destroy my immersion, and as a result, players are going to consciously just not play those games. That's what the end result of that is going to look like. Some players are going to do it
just why we don't play mobile games, even though mobile gaming is somehow the most profitable, if I understand correctly, like the most profitable gaming industry, which is probably maybe it's because those ads, because every Billy has a phone and they don't even know the gaming consoles or gaming PCs exist, but they do have a phone or a tablet, so they download the games, you know, and they don't care about advertisement because they are brain rot generations and they are immune, so they're just watching. Hard to say. I was always skeptical towards those reports that like mobile industry is the best, but apparently people are wailing in there and people are watching ads and people are happy. It's like, what the hell have we become collectively as gamers? Why do you call yourself gamer when you're playing mobile game and just eating all of that slop that they serve you? It's like, I would like to help you. Here is better, just install Steam. There is tons of free games and every single one of those games is better than anything you can play on your mobile phone. Let me help you. But you won't listen because you don't know what keyboard is. I see. Rest in peace, buddy. You do you.
Unconsciously. They're not even going to be paying attention to it. They won't even know why they stopped playing a game, and the reason why they did is because they were never in the game to begin with, because they kept seeing an ad or whatever it might be that took them out of the experience, and now they're not paying attention to the game anymore. It's not the path that I would go, but I know it's the path that these guys are going to try to run through. It's not going to end well for them, I'll tell you that right now. Again, this just goes to show the massive gap in priorities when it comes to AAA and indie publishers today, and indie studios as well.
Well, it's the passion, because AAA just took away the passion from gaming. They're just focused only on money. The indies, they want to deliver the experience. That is why those clair obscures, those schedules ones, those little companies, that's why they are so good. Because it has a soul.
One side has only so much time, money, experience, and resources, and they only can pay attention to just the game. How does it play? Does it look cool? Are people going to be interested in this? That's the only thing that these guys can think about. They can't take all the time in the world to come up with all these monetization strategies. That's why if you guys have ever noticed an indie game that has tried to do the same monetization strategies as some of these AAA companies, they get pounded into the dirt. They don't stand a chance because they can't do it nearly as well, and players aren't expecting it either, which is a part of it as well.
Yeah, but they also don't have that marketing team and PR team to do damage control. It's like if you have people like you who are street and marketing, if you have people who are in public relations, they can literally swap the narrative and do damage control and do it effectively and make excuses and use the psychological warfare, essentially. All of those techniques that are based in psychology as a science are being employed towards sales, towards marketing, towards PR, to essentially trick our minds into believing that the same slop is actually better slop than what such foolish indie developer trying to release, I don't know, Battle Pass in their shitty game would make.
But yeah, the other side, the AAA side, these guys have lost touch. They don't even recognize the customer, and the only thing they can think about is growth and profitability. One side of this is sustainable, the other side is not. I'll let you guys take the time to figure that part out. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe, liking out right now. Thank you, dude.
Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, and I hope you guys have a good day. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Catch you in the next one.
Family, right?
Family, 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 family.
Yeah. Thanks for the video, dude. That was awesome.